Yeah, well, 3 times in the last 8 games is pretty often to score 4 runs in the first inning and actually lose all 3 of those games. And that's why it's so important, especially against a team like the Dodgers, to add runs on after the first inning. Glasnow did a nice job. He settled in. He threw 43 pitches in the first inning and then went 16-17, 16-13. So he stayed efficient. After that, he was able to keep his team in the game. He went 5 innings. When you have a relentless offense like the Dodgers are, that continues to put pressure on you, right? You have to find a way to add more runs on. And you kind of knew that if the Giants didn't do that, based really on what we've seen in the last week, with their ability to get off the hot starts but not add on, you kind of felt like that they were going to let the Dodgers back in this game tonight, and they did just that. So nice game by Shohei Ohtani once again. He's got 53 home runs, 54. He's 1 away from his career high of 54, which he had last year. Mookie Betts stays hot. He's leading the league in RBIs in the month of September. So, like I said, it's just 4 home runs up and down the lineup. It's a relentless offense, and you have to be at your best.
Yeah, and this Giants team continues to confuse you. Earlier in the season, they weren't able to put up any runs early in the game. They were a middle and late run-scoring team. Now they put up a lot of runs early, and then they don't score any after that. I can't explain it to you.
They make you feel good early, but then they disappoint you late.
Then they let you down. Yeah. Let's get a look at what's hot. This is brought to you by Service Champions Heating and Air Conditioning. Sean, you were just touching on the Dodgers offense, and it's not just the Giants that the Dodgers beat up on. They've got MVPs up and down their lineup. You've got incredible hitters from 1 to 9, but you look at your 1 through 5 hitters in the Dodgers lineup, and that's tough if you're a starting pitcher, if you're any pitcher facing 1 through 5 in the Dodgers lineup. And that's just the way they want it.
You just continually have to make really good pitches. You have to be on top of your game. You have to be able to execute. You have to be able to execute with quality pitches. You can't fall behind in counts, as we saw Kai Tang do tonight against Max Muncy in a 2-0 count after hitting Freddie Freeman. 2-0 count, lays a pitch in there. He hits it out of the ballpark, because they can do damage just like that. They can all hit the ball to the yard. Even Michael Conforto, who came into the game hitting under 200, he got in the mix tonight. He had 3 hits on the night, had a home run, and for whatever reason, against the Giants this year, he turns into Shohei Ohtani. But he's hitting 8th in the lineup and hitting below 200 for a reason. He hasn't had a great year, but against the Giants, he's figured it out. Tommy Edman pokes one out the other way. Unlikely guy with 12 home runs on the year, and then Max Muncy, who's been doing it to the Giants for his whole career, he goes deep, and then you expect Shohei Ohtani to pop one out, if you make a mistake on him, and he continues to be to make a case for his MVP. But he's going to win the MVP. That's pretty much a fact. But he keeps adding to that resume. 53 home runs now on the year and 100 RBI. So Shohei's good, and now he has 141 runs scored on the year. There's only 3 guys that have done that in the last 20 years. Acuna did it with the Braves a couple years ago with 149, and Alex Rodriguez did it at some point a long time ago. But Shohei has done it now this year. So he continues to just keep putting up huge numbers, and now he's pitching on top of that. He'll probably be very important to the Dodgers come playoff time with his arm as well as his bat. So they're set up in a good spot, because they're hitting their stride at the right time coming into the playoffs. Since September 9th, which is the last 12 games, they're the best team in baseball offensively with as far as batting average and slugging percentage. So they're getting on base, and they're driving a ton of runs and hitting a ton of home runs. So just a juggernaut right now.
Yeah, I know many of you don't want to hear this, but witnessing greatness and getting to watch Shohei Ohtani do what he does, and he is great at his craft. There was some positive on the side of the Giants. They've called up Bryce Eldridge as we check out our daily jackpot that's brought to you by River Rock Casino. Of course, that was just a couple weeks ago or earlier this week. And Bryce Eldridge had yet to get his first hit. He completes that tonight, and it was no cheapie. He gets 3 RBI. He clears the bases on a double. That's a nice way to get your first hit in the majors.
Absolutely. With the bases loaded, you kidding me? Against the Dodgers, get your first hit, goes the other way. We've heard a lot about his power to the opposite field. It looked like he thought he might have got that one. Looked like it might have got just down the barrel, just enough to where he wasn't able to get that backspin and carry it out of the ballpark to left field. You can see the family going absolutely bananas. They've been following him from Arizona to LA. They see him get it done there, and just a great situation with the bases loaded in the first inning. Got this team on the board, and you can kind of see, just what I think signs of what you can expect to see from Bryce Eldridge in a Giant uniform.
Yeah, and take a look at this post on X from Sarah Langs of MLB.com. At 20 years and 335 days, Bryce Eldridge, the youngest Giants player with multiple RBI in a game since Jack Clark
Jack the
back
Ripper.
in 1976. There's so much promise when you look at the young Bryce Eldridge. This is why the Giants took him with their first-round pick. And this is what you've heard about Bryce Eldridge. There's something when you talk to the coaching staff, when you talk to guys in the minor league level that are up close, when you speak to Ron Wotus and different coaches within the Giants organization, they always talked about how good his swing is and how he's been ready for the majors for a while, but the footwork and kind of working on some of the first base attributes that he needed is why they needed to hold him off and develop the player. But Bryce Eldridge, you see him in his at-bats, and the swing really is there.
Yeah, there's a lot of promise there, a lot of power there. We talked a little bit about the swing and miss. I mean, he's going to have that. He'd had that in the minor leagues, but when he makes contact, the ball goes. I mean, he hits the ball hard. He hit the ball 108 on the ground in his third at bat tonight. The ball we saw hit to left field was 100 off the bat. So the extra velocities are there. The bat speed's there. He's a tall guy, but he doesn't have long arms. He doesn't have a long swing. He has a pretty short swing to the ball swing. He gets right on top of the plate. He can still handle the ball in because he can get the barrel to it because his arms are a little bit shorter. But just a ton of power. I mean, we saw a couple at bats in Arizona where he looked like he got beat on pitches, but the ball is, and we're going to look at those right now. This is the type of power. The ball out over the plate looks like he got it, hits it to the biggest part of the ballpark. Center fielder makes a really nice play, but you see just didn't get all that one, and it's still carried to the warning track. Another at bat in Arizona, a fastball up in the zone. He just gets under it enough, but you see the center fielder go back on it. You think maybe it's going to get out of the ballpark, but that's a big part of the ballpark, right? And he hit it a little bit too high. And he knew he barreled it, but just a little bit too high in the air. But you can see the bat speed there. You can see when he barrels balls and he can get them up in the air that he can hit them a long way. So we're going to see his first home run before the season ends. I'm sure of it. Tonight, we almost got to see it, but he did get his first hit, his first extra base hit, his first RBI, and then he ended up getting a run scored as well later on in the game. So, or in that inning. So that, yeah, did he score that? Yeah, he did score that inning, a Jung-Hoo Lee's base hit. So, yeah, he got a lot of firsts out of the way tonight.
Yeah, Bryce Eldridge, he was called up on Monday, and he had to wait until Saturday to get his first hit. But now that's out of the way, and that can allow you to breathe a little bit more freely when you go up to the plate.
His mom got a foul ball in the stands, by the way.
What a night for the Eldridge
How about
family.
That? Of all nights, her son gets a base hit, first big league hit, and she catches a foul ball in the stands. And there's 50,000
That's called the baseball gods, Sean.
Yes, that's
they
right.
They are hard at work tonight at Dodger Stadium. They just couldn't help a little bit more offense for the Giants tonight. But Eldridge, as you know, on Monday became the youngest Giants player to make his debut since Madison Bumgarner did back in 2009. So just a lot of things going in favor for Bryce Eldridge. I know many of you really happy to see him at the major league level. We are too, getting to witness the future of the Giants. Let's talk about the pitching tonight in this game between the Dodgers and the Giants. The Giants take the 7-5 loss, and now they have lost 3 straight. It was Kai-Wei Tang who made his 7th career start. And this was something you mentioned, Sean, about Tang. And in his starts, he's either got the location and the command or he doesn't. And tonight he really didn't have it. You saw him make a lot of mistakes, hit quite a few players. He just didn't have the command tonight.
Yeah, command was definitely an issue tonight with all his pitches for that matter. I mean, he threw 74 pitches. He only threw 39 strikes. That's 35 balls. That's not the best ratio in the world. But really, it was the command of his breaking balls tonight. He threw 54% of his pitches. More than half of his pitches were breaking balls, and 18 of his 40 breaking balls for strikes. So that's less than 50% strikes. And his last game against the Diamondbacks, he threw 76% strikes with his breaking ball. That's when he's at his best, is when he's commanding that breaking ball, the slider and the curveball both. Backdooring it, he can throw it all over he can throw it to both sides of the plate. That's what makes it special. And then he's got elite spin to that pitch as well. It just wasn't his best, right? Command-wise. They made him throw 29 in the first, 18 and 27. And that's what the Dodgers will do to you. But if you're not sharp enough, right, and you're not commanding that pitch, you're not throwing enough strikes early in the count, getting ahead of them, they're going to make you pay and they're going to work counts. They're going to make you throw a lot of pitches is what he did. But what I did like, I saw a mixed bag of breaking balls, and I'm going to go over to the big board and I'm going to show you in Estes Besties what I didn't like about the breaking ball tonight and what I actually did like about the breaking ball. In tonight's game, he had 4 strikeouts with the breaking ball, but he did have 3 hit by pitches and 2 walks. So we're going to take a look right now at what his breaking balls. So we're going to start with the bat. I like to finish on a positive note. You see right here. Now he has a tough time with his breaking ball because he creates so much spin with it that when he loses his release point, he loses it in a big way. And we've seen him do this quite a bit, especially the left-handed batters hold on to the breaking ball too long. So what does he say? I don't want to do that here. I want to get it out front. Well, he does, and it squirts out, hits Hernandez, does the same thing here. He doesn't get it out front, and then he gets it too far out front, ends up yanking it away. So it's a fine line between finding the right release point and not. And he hits a lot of batters and walks guys with it. Well, he did find it at certain points in the nice game, and this is the good. A good breaking ball in on the hands of the lefty, and then he goes to work with the strikeouts. Looks like a strike out of the hand and darts away at the last second. Once again, right there, obviously in a 2-strike count, all these batters. He gets the best hitter in the game right now to freeze on a backdoor breaking ball, and then he gets probably the second best hitter in the big leagues. He gets him 0-2, and he gets him to swing over the top of a breaking ball in the dirt. You don't see Freddie Freeman do that very often, is swinging a pitch in the dirt. Check swing. That just goes to show you right there how elite that breaking ball is when it comes out of his hand the right way, when he has the right release point with it, and then he gets the break that he needs to get that elite swing and miss stuff. Just tonight, it wasn't there quite consistent as you'd like it to be, but right now, him pitching for a spot, maybe in the rotation, maybe just part of the bullpen next year, his ability to show that he can command that pitch and strike guys out with it is probably enough in their eyes to say, you know what, he could be a good bullpen piece, come out of the bullpen and get a strikeout when we need it. Or if he can start commanding that pitch a little bit better and as well as his fastball and the changeup combination that goes with it, because he did have a strikeout with the changeup tonight, he could be a starter because he is a 4-pitch guy and all 4 pitches are above average.
At what point? Is it when you release the ball that you realize you don't have the command on that pitch?
Yeah, usually you feel like sometimes especially with the fastball, because everything comes off your fastball, in my opinion. He doesn't throw a ton of fastball, so it's really hard for him, I feel, to get that feel of the release point out front with your fastball, and then everything comes off of that. I used to feel like early in the game I needed to establish a fastball, because if I felt like if I was in the right position with my fastball, with my hand and my release point, that I could just throw my breaking ball off of that, right? And it would be there. But he throws so many breaking balls, as I said, 55% of his pitches are breaking balls tonight, that he's got to find that release point with the breaking ball early in the game. And sometimes because he has so much break, sometimes it's there, like against the Diamondbacks, it was there from the first pitch. Tonight, he was struggling to find it. And a lot of times with 2 strikes, what he'll do is he'll try to make it even better than he needs to. He's got to understand that if he throws that pitch anywhere in the strike zone, it has so much late break to it and spin, it's really hard for hitters to barrel up. And he's got to be able to trust that pitch even in the zone, or just try to drop it on the back part of the plate like we saw him do against Freddie Freeman and getting that strikeout. He doesn't have to make that nasty back foot slider or a curveball with 2 strikes. He doesn't need that. It doesn't have to be that good. And when he realizes that he has the ability to still throw a strike and get a swing and miss, I think that'll give him a lot more confidence to trust that in that spot. But I really do think that he needs to throw more fastballs. I really do, because I think that just sets up the eliteness of his off-speed stuff.
Absolutely. Listen, we got down early. Obviously, Tyler Glasnow didn't have his ace stuff tonight, and certainly didn't have his ace stuff in that first inning. But what he did was he battled. He gave up those 4 runs in that first inning and then continued to battle second through the 5th inning to keep that offense at bay, allowing the Dodgers to come back. Great team win by the Dodgers.
That's the key. It was a team win. It really was an impressive win, especially early on when you're down by 4. Tyler Glasnow, you could tell, was really struggling to find it, and that happens. But at the same time, not giving up afterwards, sticking with it. But I think the key to the team win was that very first inning, Max Muncy with the home run. That was huge, picking up your teammate in Tyler Glasnow. And I think that helped Tyler say, okay, well, now he cut it in half. I got to go out there and continue putting up zeros because this offense is going to come back here and I have to do my job. And he did exactly that to allow this offense to come back. Michael Conforto, great game, 3 for 4 with that bomb. But just up and down the lineup, there were little things that really contributed to his overall win. So, yes, this was a complete team win. I'll tell you what, how about Jack Dreyer closing that game out as well? That was great to see.
Hey, you brought up Michael Conforto, obviously 3 or 4, got a home run as well. He's with Kirsten Watson now.
Michael, tonight you had a 3-hit game off of 3 different pitchers. What does that just say as to where you're at offensively right now?
I think I'm in a good place. I mean, last time we talked, it was just more about, competing and putting together good at-bats and forgetting the mechanics of everything. And just trying to be a team player up there. And, that's kind of what I'm focused on. And, it's a good time to get hot and just looking to keep it rolling.
You put so much effort into just kind of getting back on track, working through a few things mechanically, making some changes. How rewarding are these results, and more importantly, the consistency you're seeing at the plate right now?
It's rewarding. Really the big thing is, we clinched playoffs yesterday and we're chasing down the division right now. That's going to be the most rewarding thing. And obviously, I want to be a part of it. I want to be a meaningful part of it. I want to, drive guys in and make plays in the outfield. And, so that's my goal. And I'm all in on just winning games.
It's clear that that's a collective mindset. Are you seeing that, especially with this group, when you guys are down 4-0, you come back, you put 7 runs on the board, and you also pick up the comeback win?
Yeah, I mean, it's huge, being down against these guys. They're fighting for their lives over there. And, it's just a testament to the work that we put in, the shift in mindset. And we're just playing really good baseball right now.
Ahead of this interview, you were teasing, it seems like we're only talking whenever we're playing the Giants. Well, when you look at you guys have faced them quite a lot to close out this regular season. Is that best case scenario for you when you want to get hot at the right time?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is. I've had some good series against these guys, and really the big thing, like we talked about, is just like the timing of it. It's towards the end of the season, and when we're chasing down a division. So that's really what the big thing is.
Playing the best baseball at the most important time of the year. Michael, congratulations on this win tonight.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, obviously big hit 90 for him, but I tell you what, guys, we got to go back and talk a little bit more about Tyler Glasnow again. Started off maybe adrenaline off what we saw last night, how the atmosphere was, but we mentioned it gives up those 4 runs. But no, Mama, come to you because you said something while we were just kind of watching it. You said, got it, it happened, zeros from here on out. You were talking about that to us, and that's what happened.
He did. And listen, even the next few innings, it wasn't like all of a sudden like, okay, I got rid of that first inning and then I found it and I was in the group. He still grinded it out. I don't think he necessarily felt the most comfortable, but you're not always going to feel comfortable. But you got to go out there and find a way. We mentioned that before the game started. You may not always have it. Kershaw yesterday didn't have it, but he grinded to give you 4 2/3 inning to give the team a chance to win. You may not have it, but you're going to have to find a way to grind it. I said, trust your stuff. Even if you don't have it, it's still nasty. But he was battling, and that's exactly what they needed to go out there and then end up going out there and completing 5 innings and then handing it over to the bullpen right after that. And what I also liked was even like the bullpen picked each other up afterwards too. But Tyler Glasnow going out there after that first inning and making sure putting up zeros was huge.
It's about competing, and Nomar touched on it. Listen, you're not going to always have your best stuff, but a lot of stuff has to do with your character. And Tyler Glasnow showed a lot of character tonight. Yes, he dropped that 4 spot in that very first inning, but really told those guys, hey, that's all they get. I'm going to give you a chance to come back. Max Muncy, right away, 2-run bomber, huge moment of the game, cut the deficit 2, and the Dodgers were off to the races. It is so important to have starting pitchers that understand, you know what, it's nice to get 7 strong innings, only give them a run, but guess what, this is the big leagues. They drive dice cars too, so credit the Giants. They came out there, they swung the bats, they had a couple of base on balls, they scored runs. But once Tyler Glasnow figured out a way to really compete, keep them at bay, our offense, he allowed the offense to get back in this ball game, and the Dodgers, and that's what it's about. in the postseason, it's all about winning as a team.
Right.
Sometimes you're going to have dominant outings from your ace. Sometimes your ace may give it up a little bit, but it's up to the offense to make sure they battle back in this ballgame. That is a sign of a really good team. Dodgers did that tonight.
Well, listen, one of the ways to help out when your starter's starting a little rough, as Tyler Glasnow had that first inning, is to get some offense. And you talked about Max Muncy obviously kind of maybe going, you know what, we still have a chance in this game.
Yes.
But then Shohei Ohtani does what he's done all year. Home run number 53. I mean, he just continues to marvel all through the season.
Well, I also think it helps when you see your pitcher who's battling after that.
Yeah.
You know, and he gives up the 4 runs and he still battles it. Like, he wasn't sharp, but he's putting up zeros. Now, offensively, you're in the dugout. Like, hey, guys, let's go. When's our turn? We got to keep putting runs up. Guys putting up some zeros. He's fighting, so now we got to go fight for him. And then Shohei, his power is ridiculous. Just going the other way and driving it out. When he hits it the opposite field, like, he knows it. Like, all right, he can watch it and enjoy it. That's the difference between a hitter with power and a power hitter. A hitter with power hits a ball and go the other way, but he's usually going, okay, I hope it goes out and he's running. But when you're a power hitter, you know you can hit it out and you can just watch it and enjoy it. Like, there goes another one. But I just think, though, we know Shohei with the power, but I think the quality at bats afterwards, up and down the lineup, because you want to get it to guys like Shohei, but other guys are still doing their job. You got Tommy Tanks going deep.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. So there was quality at bats throughout the lineup in order for them to come back and put up those 7 runs.
Shohei Ohtani, I don't know if you guys know this or not, he also pitches.
Yeah.
So,
we were aware of that.
He understands sometimes as a pitcher, you're not going to have your best stuff, but he saw his fellow pitcher battling out there, and obviously Shohei Ohtani, Oppo Papo, 53 bombs. He's a special player, but I just love the battle, the compete from Tyler Glasnow, the battle, compete 1 through 9 in that lineup. It was so fun to watch tonight.
Yeah, you know, I was talking about picking up your teammates, and I just mentioned earlier about the bullpen, though. When you think about the bullpen in and of itself, picking up each other, because, you know, after Tyler Glasnow comes out, you got Bonda coming in, and he puts up a 0. But then you have Kirby Yates, who struggled once again. But it was Robleski who picks up his teammates and goes out there like, all right, he puts up a 0. And then afterwards, right after, Will Klein coming up, just got called back up here recently. He puts up a 0, and then you got Dryers closing it out. So that's picking up your teammates even in the bullpen.
If this happened maybe 2 weeks ago, I don't think we win that game tonight. I just don't think we win tonight's game. It's a different vibe, man. Yeah. It's a different feeling. I felt it coming in the ballpark today. Yep. The Kershaw thing. Even then they were down 4-0. This team said, so what? We're going to battle back, compete, and they found a way to win. That's the heart of a champion there.
Yeah, we had Stan Casson on earlier, team president, and he was just talking about how normally it's packed here, but he said it's unusually packed 2 hours before first pitch early. And so you can tell the atmosphere is definitely energetic for this team as well. All right, we're going to check back in one more time with the booth. Steven and Oral on the last call here.
Well, Oral, the Dodgers were not going to be denied on Friday night, Clayton Kershaw's night. Well, Saturday night, Clayton Kershaw's bobblehead night, same story. They weren't going to be denied. They win the series, and the magic number is down to 3.
Yeah, it's fun to see the magic number that low for this club. They battled through so many injuries and so many tough things this year. They had an emotional night last night, and they provide an exciting night tonight, especially after Tyler Glasnow's tough first inning.
Of course, Emmett Sheehan's got a chance to pitch them to a series sweep tomorrow, but what was the most important thing that you saw here tonight?
Well, you continue to see the depth of the lineup work, the bottom of the order chiming in. You even get the bunt, and you get Mookie hitting way he had his hit. You get a Shohei going deep the opposite field. You get Conforto punching in. When you get the news on Will Smith's hand that he's got a fracture, and all of a sudden he's not going to be in there at least till the beginning of the playoffs and maybe a little deeper, but everybody else starts contributing, that's a good sign.
Also a good sign to see some guys step up in the bullpen, thrust into some roles down the stretch to see who's going to seize one of those spots in his postseason roster. Hey, also don't sleep on the Oral Cole. A couple times tonight, the double play ball and the Shohei Ohtani home run.
It's kind of fun to watch. You know, I've given up enough home runs. I know when they're coming.
We'll see you tomorrow, folks. One more time at Dodger Stadium in the regular season.
One more time. Thank you, fellas. Appreciate it. Hey, before we get to the highlight, show them, Jerry. I got you here. There we go. So they can see the whole thing there. We got a nice blanket with Kershaw's career and stats up here. And obviously on his bobblehead night to boot.
Well, you know what?
Cool
We're
stuff.
about win it for Kirsch. Keep going out there. Win it for Kirsch. Nice win today.
You know what's crazy? I told the fan once they give it to me, I'm going to give it right back to him off camera. I can't believe he believed me.
Yeah.
I ain't letting this go.
Listen,
Kirsch,
it was hot
I'm
earlier.
coming for you, brother. I'm going to give this to you, Kirsch.
There's a nice little breeze, so I think you're not getting it back.